Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Allegedly Credible. We are here with Real Queens Talk Podcast. I'm going to let them introduce themselves here for a moment. We're going to start over here.
Hey, everybody. My name is Bri, and this is my sister Kells.
Hey, I'm Kells. What's up?
And you guys all know Mel.
My name is Mel Supremo.
And we just want to actually give Mel a birthday shout out because her birthday was yesterday.
Woo! Birthday girl.
It's
Yes.
at 33rd.
So we are here today, and we wanted to have a topic. This was a topic brought on by a viewer. They had asked us, do we feel safe as Black women in America?
Yes, you heard the question correctly. Do you feel safe as a Black woman in America? And yes, it is me, Lady Faye, and your girl Melissa Primo, and we have special guest Real Queens Talk on the line today. We are going to be discussing our experiences, our struggles, and what we hope for the future. Check us out.
Let's just go right into it. Do y'all feel safe?
Hell no. No, I don't.
No.
And Sabrina and I talked about it, and we're sisters who grew up in the same household, same friends.
But we have different experiences.
So different experiences.
wow.
Yes.
I think it's a loaded question because it's just, there's so many, layers to that, so many different scenarios and experiences that Black women have,
Right.
Depending on where you live, your environment, things like that. So I say, have I ever felt like physically threatened or anything like that because I'm a Black woman? No. But emotionally, psychologically, have I been damaged, by racism or something like that? Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
I've experienced discrimination, but I wouldn't say that I feel threatened, by being a Black woman.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Kel?
And for me, I've experienced it the most in the workplace. And yes, I've experienced it the most in the workplace at the hands of other Black women, foreign.
Black women, that's actually interesting. You wouldn't expect that.
Exactly. Foreign men, the way they talk to people, especially Black women, they talk down to their spouses. So to us, we're off limit, like anything goes. And I found myself one time having to defend myself verbally against two men yelling at me at work in their foreign accents, nothing against them, but it was just really, and no one jumped in to step in. No one said anything. There was no one breaking it up. It was traumatic. I was crying. I quit. I ended up quitting my job because I was being verbally attacked by two men, and no one came in to help me.
Wow.
So,
But if this were, a woman of another race, we know that, it would have been,
And there
you're the victim, it would have been consoling,
Right.
it would have been all over the place, probably would have went viral on social media.
And it was and it was a small company. There's no HR to go to.
Right.
It was the owner and one of the cooks. Their HR. There is no HR to go to. So you're just, I had no real options. But at the same time, I'm like, y'all don't know me. I already called my brother, my husband, my dad. You better chill. Because you better chill. Because, it's like we feel like we have to be so on guard and so aggressive sometimes without just, without having backup. You're always alone.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt in my experiences.
So just quick question. Did you guys grow up in like a mainly Black community or
No. We grew up in North Brunswick. North Brunswick,
right?
And I was saying
Middle
that to
Eastern?
Kells. It's like middle, it's a little bit of everything. Like
Now it is. It's very mixed now. But when we first moved there was a time where, we were the only Black kids in our class.
or close to it.
Yeah. So, and at that time, to be honest, though, in
didn't
first
notice.
and second grade, third grade, when I was the only Black child in my classes, nobody made me feel out of place. Nobody made me feel unwelcome or uncomfortable or anything like that.
Right.
I really didn't experience any type of racial bias until I was an adult, I would say, because as we got older, it became more and more mixed. Like by the time we got to maybe like 5th, 6th grade, people started, coming in from outside towns and stuff. So it just became like a melting pot. Now it's very multicultural.
Right. By the time we got to high school, it was
like
like
everything.
Yes. people were from countries and natives that I've never even knew existed before. We're from New Brunswick, and it was mostly black or Spanish.
Right.
You know, it was mostly black or Spanish, and then when we moved to North Brunswick, you said it was mostly white people, and we were little sprinkles of Spanish or black or a couple Indian kids here and there. But I noticed it in middle school. In middle school, they separated us, I guess, by like test scores and everything, and I started to noticing, like, why are all my friends, why are all the other black and Spanish kids on the other side of the school? It's myself, one Spanish kid, an Indian, and maybe one other, like, mixed kid or something in my classes. And I begged them to switch me over, and they would not. I'm like, I just felt uncomfortable. And they would not switch me.
Knew that I never experienced that where they separated by testing.
Oh yeah, like they definitely did that at my school.
They
too.
do that. Yeah.
You went to a mainly predominantly.
Yeah, I went to a predominantly white school. I was one of 6 black kids in the entire school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's counting like all the different grades in high school.
Oh
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I've only known one black teacher my whole my whole time going to that school district.
Right.
And I
have
still
black
didn't even get
teachers.
I didn't even get to go in her class. And I was like, that was she wasn't my teacher, but I'm just like, oh yeah, we got one. But yeah, I definitely, I don't think I've ever had a student in my class that was the same as me until maybe my later years of high school.
Wow.
And like after that, like the damage was already done. Like we've already been separated.
Right.
And it's like we'll see each other on recess, we'll see each other at lunch, and then that was it.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So I have a different experience. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, but like where I lived was predominantly black neighborhood. I went to an all black school. The only people that weren't black were my teachers.
Wow.
And I was very much around my community a lot. So I'm going to say this for me. Growing up, I feel like I didn't feel safe from other black people.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? It's the sad truth.
And
Yeah.
that made
Right.
me very uncomfortable. Like, my parents were very big on education and learning and stuff like that. So I never really fit in with the kids at school because my parents were very much like, you're not using ain't, you're not like, a lot of, we're going to speak proper in this house. So,
Right.
Like no
Yes.
colloquialism.
yes. So, the kids at school would make fun of me, saying I talk like a white girl, stuff like that.
Us too.
We got
Yeah.
even our own family would say, "Oh, y'all talk white
white,
now."
like,
I was definitely
Yeah,
known
you're
to
talking
get
white
that
a lot.
Oreo
And I'm
all
like,
the
what
time.
is talking white?
Wait.
Because we can articulate our words. Like, we
Right.
went to the same public school, like education that you had. We didn't go to private school or anything like that.
Right.
But
Right.
because we can have an intellectual conversation that makes us, we
Talk
talk
white.
white.
Yeah.
Like,
And it made
Yeah.
you like not want to even showcase like how smart you were.
Right,
Because it's
right.
like, you
I'm
knew
not gonna
you were
be
about to
accepted.
like,
Yeah, right.
Someone was
Yeah.
gonna come for your whole existence.
Right. And it's like, I remember I had a teacher. Oh no, I lied. I had one black teacher, and when I had a few actually. I lied. I had a few. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I had shout out to Miss Alexander, Miss Finch, and
well, you got a good memory.
Yeah, Mrs.
Right.
Miss Smith, and Miss Smith was the one. I remember her. She was an older lady. She was a substitute, and she was the one that was like, Danielle, you and your older brother, you always dim your light because you're afraid of everybody else
Right.
Yeah.
saying something to you. She said, stop dimming your light. Stop doing that. Like,
Right.
you're smart. You
Right.
know the answers. So raise your hand no matter what. Don't
Right.
care about what these other people are going to do, because these people, they're going to be...
Yeah.
They're not gonna go as far as you. So that helped me, because she was the only one really speaking life to me. Like the other students and stuff were I was constantly harassed, bullied, especially by black male students.
Right.
I had a guy that was verbally like harassing me and would say like sexual stuff to me. Mind you, I'm like in 5th grade. He was like
Wow.
in 7th grade.
Yeah, that was.
And
Wow.
I finally stood up for myself, and he beat the crap out of me.
Oh my God.
So, like,
Wow.
I had to learn how to be very tough. I had to learn how to fight. Like now, you can't mess me either.
Right.
Right. Get those
I
hands.
box and stuff like that. But
Right.
a lot of when it came to like my self-worth, self-value, I was told I was ugly a lot. I was told like a lot of different things. So it's just like surprisingly,
Right.
the white people in my life or Caucasians in my life were the ones who gave me the most
Acceptance.
support
Right.
and most like affirmations and
Wow.
stuff like that. You know, so that I had just like a different experience. I'm not gonna say like I
Yeah.
haven't experienced any type of like
Right.
racist stuff that happened. I mean, I have had that stuff happen to me, but honestly, I've had more altercations with people of my own
And
race
I
than
relate
anything
to that
else.
completely because, you know, as an adult, especially in the workplace, I've experienced more hatred from our own, you know, from other Black females who, you know, don't want to see you being successful, who, you know, want to tear you down instead of build you up. And, you know, there's no sisterhood and stuff. So I've definitely felt more attacked by other Black women than I ever have by white women.
Well,
you
yeah.
know, I even where I live now, like I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, and my neighbors embrace the heck out of us. They are like the
Right.
nicest
It's
people
overly-
you will ever meet.
so much.
They will hand you the shirt off their back.
Right.
You know,
It's a
and,
little
and
weird.
They're always like waving at you.
granted, we might be
Yes,
we
but
might be
like-
the token Black family on the block. We might be, okay.
I totally relate to that.
Right.
I'm just like,
You know,
Yeah.
we might be that. But at the end of the day, and I don't know what they say when they go in their homes. I don't know
Yeah.
if they calling me an N-word
Yeah.
behind my, I don't know. But
Right,
to
right.
my face, I have never, you know,
Very
had that
courteous.
experience. But
Yeah.
from other Black women, oh, it's blatant. It's,
they'll be like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm just like,
Right.
it's very
And
blatant.
that makes me sad.
Me
Like,
too.
that
It
makes
is.
me sad
I'm like,
because
yeah.
but you remember like my workplace story?
yeah. Yo.
So like I kind of had the best of both, well, the best and the worst of both worlds.
Right.
Like when I first started at my job, I would say there was a long stint of hazing that was going on, and I
Dang.
think they might have felt intimidated by me. And I
Yeah.
wanted to also piggyback off of that point. I feel that the American system, at least like in this day and age, they're really pushing, like Black women especially have more opportunities compared to like a Black man. And I don't know if it's because they don't see us as intimidating as our counterparts, but I do know that we have been offered a lot more chances. You see a lot of us in higher positions.
Right.
Right, that's true.
Like a lot more CEOs have been.
There's a lot of programs that was
Yes.
created
Yes.
specifically,
Specifically
for
for
Black women.
us.
Yes.
Grants,
So,
all types
yes.
of stuff.
I don't like, especially like, you know, we've been looking at the grants.
Same.
We've been looking at them grants because you know
Yeah, we
we're
need
trying
it.
to be powerful Black women out here.
Yes. We need money to do that.
But I will say that on the other side, with that hazing, my director at my job has filled me with like so much. Oh my gosh, she I feel like she's a like, well, she calls me like her daughter at work.
Ah, okay.
And she's of African descent. She's actually from Newark. Shout out to you, Miss Richardson. And she's just like very big on pushing people's potential. And I never had that in a workplace, especially with someone that actually looked like me.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, she's a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
She's she's the executive director of the housing authority I work at. She had her own practice. Like she's definitely a role model in my book, and I just had to go and say like I don't necessarily
right.
feel unsafe in America because I know that I've been. You know, we've given opportunities, and if we just put ourselves in the right environment, we're
Right.
gonna be able to soar.
Right.
But I'm not gonna discredit the discrimination that has happened.
Right.
And sorry, for me, I have a complete opposite story for workplace. There was a Black woman. I was in a position of management, and she was my director. And a little bit younger than me, a Black woman, and I was okay. We have this beautiful sisterhood now in my office. We have nurse managers Black, office managers Black, directors Black, all black women, girl power. We were excited for our first meeting. And the first meeting went well. We never met in person, our first Zoom meeting. And after that, it was just downhill from there.
No.
It's like I had a target on my back from there on. And it's like,
But what do you mean, like a target? Like you think
every
she was really
chance
trying to get you?
she was trying to get me out of it. She felt intimidated by me because I was in meetings that she was in as well. Even though I wasn't in director position, there weren't many managers in that company who were in a lot of the director meetings.
Right.
I put myself in those meetings.
Gotcha.
I made friends with other directors and people higher than me, higher than her. And some of them were my mentors. She was not my mentor. I didn't go for her unless there was absolutely no one else to go to. I would reach out to people in California from New Jersey.
Yeah, cross state borders.
Yes,
It's just
I
like,
would reach
yeah,
out to
my needs are not
other
being met here.
managers in California, in Florida, in Colorado.
Colorado.
Everywhere
Dang.
but her. She was the only one. She was,
She in
yes.
the Appalachian Mountains.
Yes. I did not want to, because it was just like, and then I would hear that she would talk crap about me. I'm like, how are you? You
why?
don't know. You've never met me
Yeah.
in person. You know, you're supposed to be. You know, it was just such a hostile, negative experience, and it was just. I mean,
But
it
I'm
was.
glad that didn't let you, didn't keep you down.
Oh no! I felt like that.
Kind of like a motivator.
Exactly. It really motivated me. That was one of the reasons why it motivated me too to do our podcast. It's like there's so much
That was one of our first. That was our first
that
episode.
was our first
Yeah, I was
episode
about to
talking
say,
about
I
it.
shared
Yes.
a story. I had a
Yes.
very similar experience with a supervisor of mine
Right.
who it was the same thing. I was just targeted, like really for no reason. And, I was the same thing in a management position. And, this person would go behind my back to my staff, talking about me, just doing all type of manipulative, like sneaky, backhanded things. And I'm just like,
What's your problem?
right. Right.
we have a
like,
Right.
it
Right.
was just uncalled for. And it's
Crazy.
really unfortunate, very sad that, that is the reality. And I hate to sound redundant because, everybody says, "Oh, this is because of slavery." But it really is. Like, it really, truly is. Everything stems back to slavery and the mentality and the, those things that we experience.
Right.
All of that stuff is passed down to us in our DNA, the trauma and all of that
Right.
stuff. But when you look at the competition amongst black women, like, because that's really what I think this is. Like, it's their insecurity.
Yes.
Right.
And it's them feeling intimidated by you for whatever reason. But, when you go back to slavery, that is how, it was. It was
It's like
yeah,
the
you put
inside and the outside.
Exactly. You put the black, the dark skin, in one area,
yeah.
light skin, you
Right.
show them favoritism.
And let me just tell y'all, like, shout out to all the dark skinned people because their skin is so flawless. Like,
Exactly.
They don't have a
Shoot.
blemish. If
Not-
you, yes.
I'm like,
Beautiful.
yeah, like,
All that melanin.
and I just came to
Yes.
the conclusion that I'm a light skinned person. So
Okay, first of all,
Really?
you just.
I thought I was
You ain't never been called a red bone?
no, may I ask you a question
You
real
didn't know
quick?
you were light skinned?
I didn't know.
What'd you think you were?
I thought it was just brown.
No.
Because I'm not.
You're
Okay,
like a.
Can we have a
you're like
conversation
you're like
real
a
quick?
coffee. You're like a light and sweet coffee.
Yes,
You know, light
okay.
and sweet, cream and sugar.
Okay, so if you, so my parents are either high yellow like my mom or like brown like my dad, and I was like, okay, so I'm more on the brown side like my dad, and like my mom is like a light bright. So
And I can relate to that because that's how our parents are. Our dad he looks Spanish.
yeah.
And my mom is much darker. And my sister, I think I'm like right in the middle of my parents
Yeah.
a little bit. My sister and my other brother are both very light like my dad. And then my oldest brother is the darkest of all of us.
Right.
So, and it's weird because sometimes we would go visit our family in Ohio and I would be like the darkest one there sometimes. And I'm not dark.
Yeah,
That's how
But
it is
it's
on
just
my
melanin.
dad's side of-
it is melanin.
That's how it
Melanin
is.
can be all shades. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I like put lotion on, like it just comes a little bit bolder. But
That's how it is on my mom's side of the family. Like, most of my mom's side of the family is mixed, so
Right.
a little lighter.
Yeah.
I did not know until I'm gonna be very real.
you're
I
an
looked
uncooked
at it.
waffle.
We are pretty much the same skin color.
That's what Terrence said.
I never really realized that I was
Yeah.
considered to be light skinned until like I want to say
few years ago.
Few years ago.
Yeah,
myself.
we
Yes,
came
I
to the
didn't know
same
that.
conclusion.
But
I was
you
like,
know,
That's crazy. Like nobody ever called because
Well-
like I used to always get that like light bright.
Yeah.
Oh, you high yellow,
No,
you
not
red bone,
really.
like all my
Really.
life.
But you know what? Also in my mindset, I just because I guess in my family I always like consider us to be like the multicultural like Crayola
Right.
box.
Right.
I was like brown is brown, like you know, like black is black.
Right.
So I didn't never really think about like darker,
The
lighter.
shade,
It wasn't
yeah.
until one of my friends who's like darker than me was like, "You have like light skin privilege," and I was just like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like I
Yeah.
never even like really thought about it.
Oh,
But
wow.
then you know, I do feel like people who are darker skinned, like if you talk about like Viola Davis or
Yes.
like Whoopi Goldberg or certain people, they're automatically considered ugly.
Right.
But like
Because of
they're,
that.
if you really look at them, they're like
Beautiful.
really beautiful, gorgeous
Yes.
people.
They have the
Real.
most, like I said, their most flawless skin.
Right.
They don't.
and they
They don't age.
They don't age, but they also are the ones that have the most self
Confidence.
but I think it's because they have to project that because if no one
I was
else
gonna say
loves
that.
them, then
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of them
Right.
will tell you, like, you know, they were called ugly their whole lives.
It took a
and
long
they were
time.
called all type of names, you know, monkey, this, that, and the
I-
third. Like,
let me tell you, like when I was talking about my school, there was a dude there that actually called me a gorilla, and
my
I was
God.
Oh
like,
wow.
wow.
Like who are you talking to?
mind you,
Wow.
he's from Brazil, or he was Brazilian or whatever. You know,
wow.
I decked him in the face though.
As you should have.
Right.
As
You
you
had
should
I'm
have.
just like, I'm not even like I'm not even like the shade to be called that on
Right.
a regular, because you know back in like 2004, like that was the
Right.
thing in school,
Right.
but it was just like uncalled for. I was like, who are you? Like,
It's just, and it's sad because racism starts at home.
yeah.
Okay,
Right.
when your parents are, you know, it's innate. It's not something. When kids play together, they don't care what color they are. My neighborhood is mixed too. My son is 2. He plays with Indian kids. He plays with white kids. He plays with, you know, like it doesn't matter. We don't
Everyone.
care. We don't teach them that.
don't.
They learn it at home. When your parents have a certain way, they teach you certain things. You notice
absorb
it.
everything.
Exactly. They
Right.
think the kids don't notice it. They're smart. They're
Right.
smarter than we think.
my kid, I go and describe because she was telling me about somebody in her class. I was like, oh, what do they look like? And I'm thinking she's gonna describe the skin. She's like, oh, they're blonde. Oh, okay. And she, like it doesn't even phase her, and she's
Right.
4.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I was like, you know, I'm not even gonna correct
They don't.
that.
They don't know it. They don't understand color. They don't. That's not something that they are
on.
born
Yeah.
knowing. They're not born learning and knowing this.
it's something that they hear. They
Yeah.
overhear their parents talking about. They overhear, you know,
their parents'
conversations.
actions and yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I was gonna bring up to that too. I think that some of the reasons, like you know, we were talking about like other women of color who treat other women of color like badly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that it comes from self-hate from home
Yes.
too. Because
Yes.
That too.
literally, I mean, I love my mom and she grew up in a different like time area period, but when I was growing up, I wanted beads so bad. Like I wanted beads. I
remember the
wanted to be
beads.
right.
We had them. We had the braids
Yes.
and beads and all of that. Yes. It's annoying to sleep in. Yes.
I was never ever able to get beads.
Really?
No, she
That's
never
like the
let
black
me.
girl staple. It's like you're not a little black girl until you've had braids and beads.
But you know why? My mom had told me that's because she's probably gonna hate me for speaking this because
Hi,
now her
Mrs.
mind has
Brandon.
changed.
Yeah.
But like she was like, beads are for ghetto girls.
Right.
So like
Really?
having that mindset, it was just like kind of like
Oh.
we're not ghetto, you know. So
She was
never
trying-
got
I almost put
Like, she
beads
was-
at the end of these, to be honest. I was tempted to put the little wooden
Now
beads.
I graduated with my hair like that with the beads.
Yes, I was so tempted.
I think a
I
lot
didn't
of
have
black
the
people
time.
are trying not to live up to that stigma so hard
Yeah.
that they kind of, you know, get it misconstrued though.
Right.
What would that definition even mean?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, now she's changed her mind. My niece wears beads all the time, you know.
Right.
Wherever.
You know what
But
she did? She said that because she didn't want to put them in.
She didn't feel like doing it.
That's gonna
Exactly.
take time, right? You gotta
I got your number, Miss Brandon.
one at a time. Look.
She didn't feel like it. Yes. Because once you have your braids done, that's another 15, 20 minutes just to
Right.
put the beads on.
And then they didn't have the bead feeder back in the day. It was just like
One at a time.
one at a time.
Like-
Yes. Yep. One at a time.
Nobody got time for that.
Yep.
I get
exactly.
it. I get it. It's totally fine.
But no, I like, and then I think about some things that, like, you know, my grandma, she was mixed. She grew up in the South. I mean, she would say some off-color things about like black women and hair and stuff like that.
My grandma just came for me last night.
Yeah, your grandma always coming for you. So it's just like when you think about that, it's just like there is a level of, I don't know if it's because like they were trying so hard to like fit in, and be a part of
and
society.
pass,
Yes.
Now,
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
right.
I shouldn't have to go and make myself presentable for you. I'm presentable as is because this is me.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And it just makes you wonder like how much because they had to straighten their hair,
right?
All the perms and stuff. And I know when I was like, I'm going natural for the first time, my mom was like, why?
Right. They don't understand it. Our parents, we've got relaxers since we were like maybe. Yes,
we had relaxers as kids.
We have relaxers.
It was against our mother's, her better judgment though. We kind of talked her into it, but at the same time,
we wanted blowouts.
So
all our Spanish and white friends had long straight hair. We wanted long straight.
But we had
hair
so much hair.
Y'all had just for me,
thick hair.
kids.
We had just for me. We had olive oil. We had all of them. We had all of them.
But she was trying to do it to save time and make it more manageable. She had 2 girls' hair to do.
Exactly.
We were 11 months apart.
Right.
So it was
we both have a lot of thick hair, and I've been natural now for like 7 years-ish, and it's still a struggle. I feel like I did less work when I was relaxing my hair, but I still have damage in my hair from relaxers, from straightening, relaxing, coloring as well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's a whole nother level. Like, do you feel safe? It's like I'm literally killing myself.
Killing
to make you guys accept me in the workplace, in the streets.
Yep.
Like it's
that's why
these chemicals seep into your brain. They seep into your mind. They seep into your bloodstream.
That's probably where like Alzheimer's stems from.
Yep.
Good point.
Yeah. And then you think about we talk about everything in America. What about people in other countries that don't have the same liberties as we do? I mean, are we really in? Because I was talking to my cousin and he was like, is there a place that you would feel safe? And I'm like, I don't know.
Good question, because I have that conversation
I've done research
so often. Yes, we've
had places that I might want to migrate to.
Yes, but what I've also found out too is that honestly, I feel like we're not accepted in so many other countries because they portray black women, black people. They might play Boys in the Hood in 30 different countries, but they're not playing. What's the movie with the women from?
What's the Color Puff?
Or
No. That movie dress. Sorry, that's a whole
like
other.
something positive.
Yeah.
Like a woman
Yes. They're not playing that in 80 different countries, and they're playing the stuff that makes us look monstrous. They make us feed into the stereotypes and savages and all this stuff. And there's
over sexualized.
Yeah, and I feel like we have so limited room to leave the country. Where are we gonna go? I feel like we're not accepted in Africa because Africans, when they're here, they don't really. I went to get my hair braided. They're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "From here." They stopped talking to me. I'm like, "Oh, there wasn't much left to talk about."
I'm gonna say this because I've dated a lot of African men.
Yeah,
and they literally. I have a
talk about multicultural.
I literally had one African guy I was dating, and he literally said to me, like, when we're over there, like. He said they tell you don't date American black women. Like, don't date American black women.
Because of our mouth.
You can't bring them home.
Because we're not
educated. Like, we're not hard workers, stuff like that. What? And then he's like...
But
I didn't know that.
Let me just say, like, we're not hardworking. Just because we're not bending over backwards for our husbands at every waking moment does not necessarily mean... that we're not lazy.
Their definition is so different than our definition of hard work and labor.
And I feel like depending on where we grew up, like as black people, like we just have some different standards. There's a lot of other cultures who will come here because of where they came from and how desperate their situation was in their country. They will accept any type of work.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but I won't.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. That doesn't make me lazy, but I have a standard.
You also understand like your privilege here though.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
appreciative of where I'm at.
Right.
And
Right.
I understand because you're not from here, you're trying to get your foot in the door. Like we
Right.
are too. Like we
Right.
do take minimum wage. We do take the lower positions
Right.
because we know if we show them how we work, we're going to excel.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. And I was actually going to piggyback on something you said.
Yeah.
What was I
me?
going to say? Oh my gosh, I lost it. No. I was going to say
About what
something
they say
too. It's
about-
like, we actually, here, when we're talking about kind of like opportunities here and everything like that, I have to say, I want to say we do have more opportunities that our parents had before us.
Oh,
Our
yes.
parents have for us,
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
So I think
Right.
like for us, our mindset, we just see a bigger scope for ourselves.
Yes.
That's
Right.
what I'm trying to say.
I love that
We
you
see a
said that.
bigger
Yes.
scope for ourselves. So it's
Right.
just like,
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, like I don't want to sit here and work for somebody. all
Right.
day,
No,
Absolutely.
that is not
It's
happening.
a lot easier to work for yourself nowadays than it was
Yeah.
back
Yep.
in the
Like,
90s.
my
Yeah.
goal,
So true.
You
Yep.
know, is to own my own company or own my
Right.
own something like that. And I think like in our parents' mind, like at least like my mom never thought like that.
Right.
Like, that was
And they
nothing
were
that she
taught
ever-
to be, because they, I guess, definitely like because like our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, they were brought up in such different times.
Right.
They were brought up right after slavery ended, after
right after
Jim
civil
Crow,
rights.
after
Right.
civil
Yeah.
rights, after like immediately after
Their parents'
our parents. My parents grew up in the 60s and 70s.
They were just
When
thankful.
school were
They were just thankful to be able to get a job as a housekeeper or
that,
that.
and the fact that their parent that they were able to go to the same schools and integrate schools, so they were taught to be a certain way and to
Right.
be more docile than our generation is.
Yeah.
Our generation, our older women, our older generation, and mothers, grandmothers see it as we're wild, we're disrespectful, we're
outspoken.
we're very
But
outspoken.
like who else is gonna speak up for me?
Exactly.
Yeah,
If
and
I
they're
don't
so
open my
used
mouth.
to and they've been so used to just take it and just look the other
Right.
way. But no, I'm more Malcolm X than Martin. So
Right.
so no, we're out.
Martin
We're
Luther
loud.
King decided to switch up his approach.
Yeah.
When he saw that it
absolutely.
wasn't, as effective as it could have been, but I agree because it's just a completely different time. We have access to so many more resources now and everything. And so, and then our parents, that generation, they weren't told that, they could excel, that they could be whatever they wanted to be.
yeah.
They didn't see the representation either.
Sometimes you're even coming from a household that you're like the first generation to go to college.
Yes,
yeah.
I was.
Still.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So it's just, it's a completely different time period.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna say this too. Like if I don't feel like I don't know if I was born in my parents' time or my grandparents' time, if I would be like,
Oh no.
that's true. Like I don't feel like I could do it. I'd be like,
I said
I don't know if I could do it either, but I also have to take into account my mentality that like I would have had to grow up that whole time. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't take what I know and then put myself in there. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna be flipping these tables. Like no,
Right.
I probably would have got shot. But
Right. Yeah.
Yo, speaking of flipping tables though, how do y'all feel about like reality shows and stuff that portray black women in such a negative
I think it's hilarious.
light?
See, when I was younger,
Great entertainment.
it is. But then again, when I was younger,
sad.
when we were younger, I thought, we would watch Basketball
Girls Club.
Wives and Bad Girls Club. We wanted to be on it. But now when we think about reality shows and reality TV,
It's kind of disgusting.
It
is.
is. It's horrible.
sad.
And the way that they portray black women, these successful, rich black women, you should be making shows that show us behind the scenes how you're becoming.
You
Yeah.
see that they're
They
all
go for that on purpose.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I feel like they
Right.
try to diminish you. Okay, yeah, you're a lawyer. Okay, yeah, you're a physician.
Right.
Oh, but you still gonna, be ghetto.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be ratchet.
What's
You're
the
still gonna
one-
roll around on
what's
the
one with all
floor.
the doctors? We're all the doctors.
Married to medicine, and they still be brawling.
are so ratchet. It pisses. Oh,
They be brawling.
My question is though, my
We
question
just
is
had
so
an
though,
crazy.
We just had an episode. Do we trust doctors?
yes. My question is though, do you think that who's the majority of these people watching it?
We
Because
are.
there's other
We
people
support it.
watching it.
We support
then
it.
It's like, are we technically satisfied looking at ourselves like this?
No.
Like, you know
I'm
what
sick
I'm
and tired
saying?
I
of
don't
it.
watch
Like,
it anymore.
it's so
I don't
watch
watch
it
it
no more.
anymore. I don't watch it anymore. I used to. I used to have them I used to watch all
All
of
the
them.
Love and Hip Hop.
I
Love
used
and
to
Hip
watch
Hop.
the Braxton Family Values.
Yes, all of that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know what?
Even ones with family, even the family shows are like drama and breaking up families, and it's just
even the Christian Family. What was that?
Mary when they had a show
Mary.
too.
I was
Yep.
definitely watching that.
Me
And
too.
then what was the man's? The man.
The man's.
Oh, Tamla Man and her husband.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
I didn't see that, but I know that they got a little drama. But I just
I
think
get it. The
that
drama sells, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
it's
it's
a
like,
caricature
Yeah.
of the black population experience.
The black family.
Right.
Yeah. And I know that I don't like every time I walk through the door, I don't have nearly as much drama.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like the most drama is just like, who didn't take out the meat that I took?
And it's like all these
Don't
rich
get us
women.
wrong.
Yes.
We've had our days.
Yes,
We had our
exactly.
days.
We have
where
our-
we,
yes.
we was brawling a little
Right.
bit, but
who are these black women? You really think that all these rich, successful black women are really they're sitting around having their spa days and going shopping and living it up. This is maybe 40 minutes of their day to
Right.
act a character, to be a character.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, to portray this role.
They're the mammies.
Exactly.
These are
Yeah.
the modern day mammies.
Yes.
Shucking and driving.
yeah, that's so right.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I
for the
didn't
money.
think of
But
that.
that's
For the
why
money.
it's important for us to have forums and discussions like this because this isn't reality TV, but this is reality.
Right, and it's scripted. It's scripted.
Oh yeah, so absolutely.
If you think
It's
it's reality, you're
they
crazy.
set up
It's
the
scripted.
scenarios. It might not
Yes.
be scripted word for word, but they set up the situation.
And they cut out the context.
They cut out-
It's
yes.
like, oh wow, that took nothing to make her react like
Right,
this.
yeah.
This is what all black women.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? This girl I used to work with, she's from Russia, and she told me that she learned English from watching shows like Real Housewives and Jersey Shore and all these ratchet reality shows. I'm like,
Not
because that's
Jersey
what they
think all
played.
the words she learned.
Yeah.
You know, us.
Right. That's what she learned. Because that's what they played. And she would put them in subtitles. Those were the English shows that they played.
And you
in
know,
her country.
me and my friends, we like to watch anime, and we were just watching Street Fighter yesterday, and it wasn't a black woman, but it was definitely a trans person, and they were just so hyper feminine. And the way that they drew, like they had the exaggerated lips, they had the and I was like,
They were trying
that's
to-
not even.
They were trying to
Right.
imply the blackness of that
Yes.
character.
And I was like, wow. And this is Japan.
Yeah, but like I said, like what you said, when you go to other countries, they still like don't see us like. They still see us a certain
Right.
way, and I'm gonna go back to what I said before. Like when I was dating like Africa, I literally had. The guy I was dating and his African friends, they told me, you don't act like a typical black girl. And I
What does
said,
that
well,
even mean?
What does that mean?
What does
What
that
is
look like?
that?
Like, what is that? And they're
I don't
like,
feed
you know,
into the
you don't get
stereotypes.
you don't get the nail, like the nails, and you don't have the attitude, and you don't have the things stuff like that. And I was like, believe it or not, most black
We
people
don't.
That's not all of
Right.
us.
Like,
That's not all of
you
us.
know, like
Those
so
are
they're like, oh,
stereotypes.
like,
Very
and it's just
stereotypes.
crazy.
And then and it's not even just black people black women that do that because
Oh yes,
white women do that too.
right.
Yeah.
And it's
They see
do.
Teresa on Housewives flip a table on New
Yes.
Jersey Housewives.
Easy.
She's
And-
Italian.
right.
She's Italian as heck.
Right. And then there also, there's cultural appropriation where there's people of other races who try to act black.
Yeah.
They imitate what they see and hear to make themselves look a certain way
I'm trying to
and
be
feel
down like y'all. I was
yeah,
who's
no.
y'all?
We're trying not to be down because
No.
we know y'all
We
not
trying
gonna
to get
respect
up.
us. Yeah.
Right.
And when they see us portrayed like that, if you don't respect each other on TV, why should I as an
respect
outsider
you.
respect you?
Respect you.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like wrap this up. But my question is to you: what do you guys think we need to do as like a community for us to feel better protected? Because I'm not really concerned about the outside world anymore.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because I think that it's really up to us to
We
really
have to
come
paint that
together
picture.
and paint a better
Yes.
picture for us. But if, as you said, we're like always like belittling or down talking each other or making each other feel
Right.
better, like less, like how are we supposed to do that? So what would you, do you think we need to do in order for us to kind of like propel ourselves forward even more? Because we've gotten, I can't say that we haven't moved.
Right.
I can't say
yeah.
that the goal, like, but it's just more like the goal line has moved. I
Right.
guess you could say.
Right. No, we definitely, first of all, we need to keep doing things like this.
Yes,
We need to,
discussions.
you know,
Continue to bring awareness. to the
exactly have
situation.
discussions about it, you know, whether it's discussions on social media or whether it's in person, but coming together, you know, the 4 Black women sitting here today, like, you know, coming together and continuing to uplift one another and
Right.
support one another.
Right.
Like, that was really one of the reasons why we started our podcast, was because we're like, we see so much negativity and just drama and BS
Right.
out there in other podcasts, you know, no shades of nobody, but like other podcasts, social media and stuff, TV, everywhere, you know,
Right.
that portray Black women in such a negative light, and, you know, say that we only can offer one thing,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So we really wanted to, you know, show like, no, we are very versatile. We are intelligent. We are educated. You know, we are entrepreneurs. Like, we, you know, we aspire to do big
Great
things
things,
just like other cultures do.
Right,
So
right.
we wanted to really bring awareness to that and bring other Black women, CEOs, bosses and stuff on our show to show people like, look, they're doing it. You can do it too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So definitely we got to keep the sisterhood going and
Yes.
keep bringing awareness to it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. For me, like I said, I stopped entertaining most of these reality shows. You know what I mean? I feel like it maybe me just being the one person who's not watching it, but you know, it's not. I feel like to me that's helping myself not feed into the negativity and the stereotype of Black women being a certain way, but then also teaching our young girls that there's other ways to behave, that's not how a young lady, regardless of your color of your skin, behaves in public, especially and around other people. You know, I've went the whole Chris Rock and Will Smith thing, but when he I don't know if you saw his special, but he said at the end, you don't act bad in front of other white people. You know, you don't act bad in front of white people. You don't act bad in front of Black people, white people, clear, whatever color they are, it doesn't matter. But you know, she has a 12-year-old daughter, my 12-year-old niece. We try to instill certain values in her, and she's our future.
And
you know?
emulate, you know, what
Yes.
we want her to become, you know, instead of her, you know, having role models like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj.
Yep.
Not gonna happen.
And
Hey,
mind
Jay.
you, I'm about to say there are good things that you can take from them because they're not afraid. But there's also a way that you got to carry yourself if you want to be respected in a way that
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that we have to continue to bring awareness, and I think we have to continue to be an example. And I just came to when, you know, all the questions that people ask you at work. It's like, oh, is this okay? What do you think about this? And we all know that her job is predominantly white.
I'm the only person of color at my job.
So
Oh, wow.
it's like, I don't want to let those questions bring me down. Like, yes, it's kind of exhausting.
Yes.
But
Can I touch your hair? No.
No, don't. Like, we have to continue to educate if necessary, because you don't want to, you know, keep portraying this ignorant portrayal when you have the means to go and do something about it. Like,
Right.
I don't want you to touch my hair. It is inappropriate to make me work on Juneteenth. Like,
And it should be a paid holiday.
Yes,
like,
we should be
like,
paid everywhere.
You
Paid
shouldn't-
double. We shouldn't have to work for the whole week.
if you, and 9 times out of 10, if you ask me if this is appropriate, most likely it's not.
not.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
Come on, it's about common sense. And you know, treating people, and like Taryn tells me and the girls every day, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And make sure that you keep in mind to be kind. And even if you have to go and correct someone, do it from a loving place. Do not do it like when your intensity is this high, because there is not going to come out the way that they need to absorb it in order for them to remember. It might make an
Right.
impact, but
Right.
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 Yeah.
And I was gonna say like something you were just talking about that. Like I don't mind educating. Like
Yes,
I'll put it this
education's
way,
important.
I don't mind educating like
Same.
white people when they ask me questions. Like I
Right.
don't mind it. It's just the way you. I don't know why
Yes.
it's like the way you ask it or the way
It's your
that
delivery.
done.
It's the
just
delivery.
Like,
It's like,
what? But-
I was thinking about going into blackface. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
no.
take this paint and put it on my face.
That's like that
no.
reminds me of
That's
how
fighting
one time when I was in management, I was conducting a staff meeting, room full of my staff my staff members who are supposed to look up to me and respect me, and there was a white male who was my senior, was there, and he stopped me in the middle of me talking, doing a team building session, and asked me, "Is my hair real?"
Oh my
I
God.
was like, "Excuse me." First of all, I mean,
what?
I wanted to.
I paid
didn't
for
say
it.
anything that I wanted to
Paid
say.
for it.
I'm like, I just had to look at him like he was crazy. And I think the look alone made him feel this small.
Yeah,
Good.
But-
first of all, that just feels kind of diminishing to me.
Exactly.
Literally just
So
like,
degrading.
It's so
It's
insensitive.
like I'm talking about something very important. That's what you
Right.
need to talk to
I'm
me
trying to
about
increase
right now.
productivity in the
Yeah,
house.
like,
Right, right.
The products in
Yeah.
my
It was
hair.
so inappropriate, and I composed myself, and I held it together until the end of my meeting. But then I let him know how disrespectful,
Yeah.
insensitive, and racist that actually is.
We going to
Because
HR.
if I
Now.
wasn't black, would you ask a white woman if her hair is white? I mean, if her hair is real,
Yeah.
you wouldn't. So if you would not ask that same question to her, don't ask it to me, because that is being racist.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. So I was gonna say I agree with that completely 100%. Like I don't like come on. I was like get out.
You're
But again,
right.
he was my superior, and
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
okay, what do I even do in that? It was like so
You fire him.
blind.
You're
I could have went to HR. I could have made a
Right. I
whole
went
big
straight to
fuss about
HR,
it.
yes.
Yeah,
You've been
I could have made a
fired.
whole big deal about it, discrimination, blah blah
They
blah.
would have been
But
scraping his name off his door by the end of the day and putting my name up.
I decided to educate him
Yeah.
instead,
To see
and it
what
was interesting because he is actually, he was in a same-sex marriage. So it was like, you of all people should understand what discrimination feels like.
Right.
So I would never say something offensive to you like
Right.
that, so you should be more sensitive to, others
Yeah.
when it comes to
They
things
have
like
their
that.
own
And that's-
entitlement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
where the education comes from, because they want to keep taking black education and all this, cultural appropriation and cultural, what's the word? Like, any, cultural education, period, needs
Yeah.
to be classes taught from young age
Yeah.
throughout high school.
You gotta know where you came from in order to go.
Yes.
And you also have to know how to be sensitive to other cultures.
And this is one thing I was gonna say too. Like I
Yeah.
hate when people say I'm colorblind, because I'm like, no,
No.
it's
That's not a
you're
good thing.
Supposed to be
Right.
colorblind. You're supposed to love color. Everybody, we
Right.
have eyes for a reason. Color is beautiful. That's the
Right.
thing. Color is beautiful, and it's accepting the
that.
color. It's
And
loving the
respecting
color.
it.
It's respecting the color. That's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be about. It's not about being colorblind. Oh, I can't see your
Right.
color.
I've
No.
actually-
I want you to
Right.
see my skin. And I want you
Exactly.
to acknowledge how beautiful it is.
Right.
I want you to see her skin, and I want you to acknowledge how beautiful it
Right.
is. Like that's what I think the goal should be.
Right.
And to answer the question of what I think, first of all, like I said, I don't focus on everybody else. I focus on us and what we need to do. So
Right.
one thing that I'm about is anytime I see a black woman walking down the street and she looking amazing,
Yeah.
Come on, let her know.
You're complimenting,
outfit, like whatever. If nobody else is gonna uplift you today, it's gonna be me. Okay?
Yes.
So just so you know,
And that makes your whole day. It makes your
Right.
whole day, whether you're
It
on
does.
whichever end of the receiving of that,
Yeah,
you
right.
feel great.
Great, yes.
Hey, girl, curls popping.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want
I'm looking at your curls the whole time. I'm like, damn.
But I just
I'm
need
like,
black women to be receptive to it.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
because don't give me a look like, oh, thank you. And then,
Yeah.
think about it.
I feel like we
no.
should all it really should be about us just building a community, uplifting, not competition. I'm not in competition.
Right.
Like, first of all, let me tell you, like, when I first found out about you guys' podcast, I automatically was like, oh, I have to check it out. Because
Right.
I was just so excited to see other
black
black
women.
women
Right, in this
podcasting
space.
and doing
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I never saw it as like, we're
we
in
gotta do
competition.
better.
Heck
Oh,
no.
we gotta do this.
Not at
No,
all.
ever.
It's like, no, we got
Automatically,
to
I was
Yes.
like, how can we
Yes.
make this work?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
We need
And
to
I feel
partner.
like that is a mindset that we have to have more of.
Right.
How can we make this work? How
Shout
can we
out
part
to
this
Real
out?
Queens Talk.
Guys.
Because Real Queens be talking.
Shout out to Credible.
Yeah, y'all gotta come on.
Allegedly
We gonna have to do a
credible.
swap, so y'all gonna come on
Yes.
our show next.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And definitely, I just want to give a special shout out to the Art and Soul Studio.
Yes.
This is such a beautiful space. Like, you guys should definitely come out because you can just, the culture is just oozing from
Amazing.
the
It's
walls.
beautiful.
The art is amazing.
Yes.
Everything is here, and we just want to thank them for hosting us today.
Yes,
for sure.
We really appreciate it.
My ADHD is in full effect in here. Okay. I love it here. I love it here.
You guys should definitely come and check it out. Definitely come check it out. So, in that, what was that?
Oh, I was gonna say, can we say the address? So,
yeah.
you know,
Let's
people
say the
come check
full
it out.
address.
Yes, yes,
Check it out.
yes.
The address is what is it?
1659
Parkway
Avenue.
Ewing, New Jersey.
Yes.
1590?
1569 Parkway Avenue, Ewing, New Jersey.
Yes.
08638.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Miss
Yes.
Princess.
Thank you, Miss
Yes.
Let them come out. Shout out to
Soul.
our audience.
Art studio. Yep. It's beautiful art studio.
You guys can come host
Art
a
and
paint
Soul
and
Art
sip
Studio,
here, or
yeah.
it's so beautiful, and
I'm
you should
definitely
see
gonna
all the
come
art
back.
on the walls. It's all
Yeah,
type
she
of
got
different
Snoop
black
and
artists.
James Brown, Whoopi, everybody
Got
on the
Michael
wall.
up there.
Jimi Hendrix over there. I love it.
Yes.
Love,
And
love, love.
I just want to just definitely go ahead and I'm going to give you guys time to shout out your podcast and tell people where to find you.
Sure. So you can find us on Instagram at Real Queens Talk _official. We just launched a brand new website. You guys can go to realqueenstalk.com. We have a merch line. You can also listen to the podcast from there. But you can find us wherever podcasts are streaming, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also, we are on YouTube at Real Queens Talk _official. So thank you guys.
Check us out.
Yes.
And as always, you can find us at www.allegedlycredible.com. We don't have merch yet, but we will very soon.
Very soon. Yes.
Yes. We don't have merch, but we do have inspiration.
That's worth $1,000. $1,000.
Right,
Motivation,
exactly.
Yes.
Collaboration.
We gotta start somewhere.
Yep.
We gotta start somewhere.
You
Yep.
can find us on Instagram at Allegedly Credible, Facebook, and pretty much everywhere at Allegedly Credible. We're any streaming platform you have. We have a YouTube channel as well. We just tried to make it simple at Allegedly Credible because we know y'all can't spell it that much anyway.
can't.
'Cause we can't spell it that well anyway. So, but I do also want to say September 30th, we are going to be having
The Creative Hive event.
our second Creative Hive event. We're going to have more details on that
let us know.
soon.
Yes.
If you would like to participate, please email us at allegedlycredible
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com, or you can just go on our website and there's a form where you can click contact us and put in that you're willing to participate. You can be a performer,
You can be a vendor.
you can be a vendor, you can be an artist, or you could be
A
a
participant.
poet, anything you want to do.
Audience member.
Yes, definitely come. Okay, we'll have more details very soon about that, but our first one went really well, so we're hoping the second one goes. We know the second one will be even better. So
Right.
yes, definitely for sure. And if you want to submit a topic, please go ahead and go to www.allegedlycredible.com and let us know what you want us to talk about.
We also are taking donations. We have a Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle at Allegedly Credible. And the Zelle is allegedlycredible@gmail.com. So if you want to support us financially, it's available to you.
Yep. All right.
Support.
Same, yes. We have Cash App. We have, what else? We have Cash
Yeah,
App,
PayPal,
Zelle, PayPal, all the above.
Oh,
Real
right,
Queens
Real-
Talk.
Any
Yeah.
questions,
Underscore
just
official.
definitely DM us.
DM us.
Right.
We'll direct you to the right way.
We just started vibing at the end. It's like, yeah, we got that too.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was so fun. Thank you. Thank you for being on.
Bye. Thank you guys
you.
for having us.
Thank you for coming.
This was so dope.
Peace out.
Bye.
Hey, it's your girl, Lady Faye.
And your girl Melissa Primo here.
And we just want to thank you so much for all the love and support for all the listeners that listen to us. But if you would really like to see us grow, we need your donations.
And you can send those donations via Zelle at allegedlycredible@gmail.com, or
You can Venmo us or Cash App us under Allegedly Credible. Anything that you would give us, we would greatly appreciate it. It's going to go towards some bigger goals we have.
Yep. Thank you so much, Credit Peeps.
Thank you.